Early in the morning, lots of people were busy at the taxi garage. Amanda, a young woman who drives a taxi, had been fixing her car for a while without noticing anything else around her. Suddenly, a deep voice interrupted her. "Hi, Amanda. It's early, and you're already fixing your car. What's wrong? Need a hand?" Amanda stopped working, wiped sweat from her forehead, and looked up. She looked funny with smudges of engine oil on her nose and holding a dirty cloth and wrench. "Hey, Barry. Thanks, but I've got it sorted. The ignition was acting up, but I changed some parts, and now it works fine. Let me clean up, and we can grab some coffee. I'm starving. I made some cabbage pies yesterday. Help yourself." Barry happily accepted and praised the pies. "Amanda, you're amazing. These are tasty. You're good with cars, baking, and you're pretty. Too bad I'm married, and your fiancé is foolish. You should be appreciated and taken care of." Amanda sighed heavily, sat down with him, sipped her hot coffee, and said thanks, but men are all the same. They're nice at first, then they disappear. But I don't need anyone. I'll save up, have a child, and raise them alone. Just don't tell Mr. Ferris I'm pregnant. Before finishing her meal, the radio called her for a customer. She said goodbye to Barry and left, humming a tune. Amanda actually enjoyed driving a taxi a lot. Meeting different people and hearing their stories made her day exciting, even though there were some tough moments. If someone had told her 3 months ago that she'd be a taxi driver, she wouldn't have believed it. Amanda grew up in the countryside, where she lived with her grandfather. Her mom passed away when she was very young, and she never met her dad. Her grandpa took care of her so she wouldn't have to go to an orphanage. Amanda loved living in the countryside, with fields of wheat, fresh-smelling hay, and her favorite cat. Her grandpa taught her everything, from cutting grass to fixing their old Chevy. They even fixed up the whole car together. By the time she was 16, Amanda could drive just as well as anyone else. She passed her driving test on her first try. But then she decided to move to the city. Amanda knew there weren't many opportunities in the village, with all the young people leaving. So her grandpa gave her his savings and wished her luck. Amanda rented a room and got a job as a waitress in a cafe. It wasn't her favorite job because she had to stand all day and her back hurt by the end of each shift. But she needed to earn money somehow. Every day, a handsome young man named Stephen came to the cafe during Amanda's lunch break. He always ordered coffee, sandwiches, and snacks, taking his time to enjoy them. Stephen couldn't take his eyes off Amanda, and she felt shy whenever she served him. That's how they started talking. Stephen worked as a manager in a tour company nearby and lived with his parents, who both worked in a bank. They were a regular family. Stephen would give Amanda lots of compliments and flirt with her. One day, he brought her a beautiful bouquet of pink daisies, saying, "Daisies for my Amanda. You're as lovely as these flowers. I think about you all the time. I'd like to take you to the movies. I've already got tickets for the premiere. Would you like to come?" Amanda was thrilled when Stephen asked her out, and they started seeing each other. Stephen would meet Amanda after work, walk her home, and eventually started spending more time at her place. Amanda was overjoyed and hoped they would get married soon, as Stephen had hinted at several times. But everything changed when Amanda found out she was pregnant. She took a test and felt a bit scared. She and Stephen hadn't talked about having children yet, and they weren't planning a wedding. She decided to tell Stephen everything that evening and see how he reacted. When Amanda told Stephen she was pregnant, he stayed silent for a long time, looking unhappy. Amanda felt hurt and asked, "Are you happy, honey? It's our baby, yours and mine. Maybe we should get married sooner rather than later." Stephen mumbled something unclearly, saying it was too soon and that he thought they were being careful. He said he needed to talk to his parents about it first. Then he left, not answering calls or showing up for lunch as planned. Amanda was exhausted and cried a lot, not understanding why Stephen was acting this way. She was devastated when someone told her they saw Stephen with another woman at the mall. Amanda couldn't believe it. She thought maybe it was a mistake, but she needed to find out for sure. She took time off work and waited for Stephen outside his office. After waiting for 2 hours, Stephen finally came out, but he wasn't alone. He was with the same woman from the mall, and they were kissing passionately in a fancy car. Amanda's heart sank, as she felt deeply hurt and betrayed. Losing control, she ran towards the car, banging on the glass and shouting, "You cheater! How could you do this to me?" Stephen got out of the car, pushed Amanda away, and said he was sorry but that he was engaged to Peggy now because his parents had decided it. He told Amanda to leave and that it was over between them. Stunned, Amanda slapped Stephen and told him she was pregnant with his child. But Stephen didn't seem to care and just told her to go to the hospital and deal with it. And Peggy came out of the salon, looking at Amanda with disdain, and asked who she was. Stephen dismissed Amanda, saying she was mistaken. Peggy warned Amanda not to interfere because she had connections through her father. Stephen and Peggy drove off, splashing water on Amanda from a puddle. Amanda was left standing there, feeling like she was in a nightmare. Amanda couldn't bring herself to go to work. She cried at home for a week, feeling betrayed and devastated. She even thought about going to the hospital to deal with her pregnancy, but she was scared of what might happen. She was torn between her emotions and the fear of making a decision she couldn't undo. During one of her darkest days, her neighbor Barry came over to ask for medicine for his sick child. He noticed Amanda's distress and took her to his home, where his wife joined them. They gave Amanda some calming medicine, hot tea, and listened to her story patiently. Amanda needed someone to talk to share her pain, because the betrayal hurt her deeply. Amanda poured her heart out to Barry, not holding anything back. Barry listened, shaking his head in disbelief, and then asked quietly, "Wow, what a mess. Your Steven sounds like a real jerk. What are you going to do now?" Amanda shrugged and said, "I missed a week of work at the cafe, so they let me go. I guess I'll have to go back to the village to live with my grandfather. But I feel ashamed, and I don't know how I'll make a living there." Barry scratched his head and suggested, "Going back to the village isn't the best idea. What'll lead you there? Work on a farm. Listen, you've mentioned you can drive well and have a license. Why don't you work at our taxi company? We need more drivers, but our boss, Mr. Ferris, is strict. You'll have to work hard, but you'll earn a good salary if you're diligent. You can save up for the baby and then go on maternity leave. Just keep your pregnancy a secret or Mr. Ferris might not hire you." Amanda wiped her tears and thanked Barry, saying it was her dream job. She loved driving since she was a kid, and she was good at it. She decided to start fresh and leave the cafe behind. She promised to come back the next day and thanked Barry and his wife. They encouraged her not to give up and assured her they'd help. So, Amanda began working at the taxi company. At first, Mr. Ferris doubted her abilities, wondering if she could handle heavy luggage or fix car issues on the road. But Amanda proved herself, driving confidently and handling any problems that arose. Impressed, Mr. Ferris hired her. Amanda felt better and threw herself into her work. She didn't have time to dwell on her pain anymore. She enjoyed interacting with clients and driving around the city. Amanda felt happy again, even though her belly wasn't showing yet, and she wore loose clothes to hide her pregnancy. So Amanda kept working hard until her maternity leave. Thankfully, she didn't suffer much from morning sickness and only had occasional backaches from sitting for long hours. It was still better than carrying trays at the cafe. The only problem was the nosy and greedy owner of the taxi company. After every shift, he demanded detailed reports and even installed cameras to monitor the driver's interactions with customers and handling of money. Despite this, Amanda found the team to be excellent, especially since there was no gossip or drama like at the cafe. She remained good friends with Barry and enjoyed their tea breaks, where they talked about life. Today, Amanda had a big order to drive a client far out of the city, promising good pay for the long distance. She was in a great mood, already planning for her baby's arrival and trying not to dwell on Stephen's betrayal. However, upon arriving at the client's mansion, she found him extremely drunk and indecisive about taking the cab. Eventually, the homeowner canceled the ride, leaving Amanda feeling frustrated as she wasted time and fuel without earning anything. She knew Mr. Ferris would be unhappy, but it wasn't her fault. To top it off, heavy rain started pouring, further dampening Amanda's mood. As she drove halfway back to town, a man suddenly emerged from the woods ahead of her. He staggered from side to side, covered in mud and dried blood. Amanda couldn't just drive past him, so she slowed down to see if he needed help. She decided that if he was drunk, she wouldn't give him a ride, but she wanted to make sure he was okay. Amanda put on her hooded jacket and got out of the car. She ran up to the man to check on him. "Hey, are you okay? Can I help you? Where are you going? If you need to go to the city, I can give you a ride." The man looked at her with tired eyes and whispered weakly, "Help me." Then he passed out and fell by the roadside. Amanda tried to wake him up, urging him to get up so she could help him into the car. After struggling, she managed to get him into the car and drove him to the hospital. Along the way, she tried to learn more about him, but he only said his name was Mitchell and was in pain. Amanda made sure he was taken care of by the hospital staff before saying goodbye and wishing him well. When Amanda returned to the taxi park, she realized she was late and worried Mr. Ferris would be angry. She had forgotten about the camera in the car. But Mr. Ferris saw everything from his office and was furious. He scolded Amanda for refusing a client, wasting gasoline, and helping the homeless man, saying she cost him a lot of money. Amanda defended herself, saying the client was sick and the man needed help. But Mr. Ferris didn't listen and threatened to deduct the cost of the gasoline from her salary and take away her bonus as punishment. Now get back to work. You're completely out of control, doing whatever you want. And don't forget to clean the car. It's covered in dirt. How will decent people get in it? Amanda angrily washed the car, thinking to herself, well, this is how you get rewarded for doing good deeds. You're left with nothing. Mr. Ferris is a scoundrel. Nothing is sacred. Exhausted and sad, she finished her shift, went home, and fell asleep immediately after taking a shower. She had no energy left. The next morning, Amanda was woken up by a knock on her door. She was surprised to find 3 well-dressed men, 2 of them bodyguards, standing outside. An unpleasant older man, clearly the big boss, entered without invitation and greeted her. Good morning. Your name is Amanda, isn't it? You saved my son yesterday, picked him up on the road, and sent him to the hospital. I'm truly grateful to you. Thank you for not letting a man die. Saying this, he placed a puffy envelope on the table. Amanda waved her hands in amazement, saying, no need, I just felt sorry for him. The poor guy was badly beaten, barely able to walk, and was in rags. How did he end up in that wooded area? The businessman seemed taken aback by the question but still answered, you understand? It's an unpleasant story. My son was kidnapped by bandits and held captive in a cabin in the woods. He managed to escape miraculously and tried to make his way home. Did he say anything to you on the way? Amanda shook her head. No, he didn't. He was in a lot of pain and only introduced himself as Mitchell. That's all. The man grinned and said, well, that's probably the best news today. All right, we got to go. Take the money. Have a good day. Goodbye. The trio left, and Amanda ran to the window and gasped. There was a whole motorcade of jeeps outside. She counted 4 of them. The girl counted the money. There was a huge sum by her standards. Clearly not a simple gratitude. She pondered. Her sleep was gone. No, something's wrong. First of all, this glossy big shot doesn't look like his father. Not a drop of worry, regret for the fate of his son. His eyes are cold and calculating. Close people don't act like that. Secondly, why did he ask so much if his son had spoken up? So there's something to hide. Thirdly, how did this man learn everything about me so quickly? And most importantly, why did he come to me? And perhaps this money is not gratitude at all but payment for my silence. No. I must go to the hospital again and check on Mitchell. I should find out from him what happened to him. Luckily, today's my day off. Anyway, Amanda bought some goodies on the way and went to the trauma department where she left Mitchell yesterday. But she was not allowed. Why can't I visit my friend? I won't be long. I'll ask how he's doing, and that's all. Let me in for a little while, please. The doctor himself came down to her and strictly said, unfortunately, we can't let you in to see Mitchell Libman. He suddenly fell into a coma and is now in the intensive care unit. And it is forbidden to enter there. You have nothing to do there. Excuse me. Amanda was shocked. Yesterday he was weak and beaten, but he was walking on his own feet. And now, all of a sudden, he's in a coma. What's wrong with him? The doctor waved her away angrily. Why should I report to you? Who are you to him? His father's with him, he knows everything. They'll let you know when you can visit his son. But for now, his condition is extremely serious. I don't have time to argue with you. I have other patients waiting for me. Have a wonderful day. Amanda was very upset and began to leave the hospital. But then she was stopped by the nurse. She took Amanda to a back room and whispered, it's not as the doctor said. You're Mitchell's fiancé, aren't you? I guessed it right away. Well, there's something wrong here. He's not in a coma. He's just being given some powerful medication, and it's unclear why. But I noticed that respectable man who seemed to be his father gave the doctor a big envelope with money and asked him to make sure that Mitchell never left the hospital. Not at all. I treated his wounds yesterday, it was nothing serious. I think the doctor sold his soul to the devil because he is an avid gambler and he needs money. I know this because I have a cousin who suffers from this addiction. I have seen the doctor several times in the casino when I took my cousin out of there. I told you the truth, but don't give me away, okay? Or they'll fire me or destroy me. All right, I'm off. Amanda was in shock. She didn't know what to do, how to help Mitchell. She scolded herself. Well, I got involved in a story again. I have many problems myself, and I'm worried about other people's problems. What a stupid character I have. The girl was tormented with worries and doubts all night, not sleeping a wink, and by morning, she decided for sure that she would not be able to live peacefully if she did not save Mitchell. After all, the guy was her age. Why should he die? It's not right, it's not fair. Amanda's first impulse was to run to the police and tell them everything she knew. But then she changed her mind. After all, if the rich man had so much money and connections to buy everyone and everything, then in the police he probably has his own people. And what could she charge him with? It's all just rumors so far, no proof. The worst part was that there was no one to consult. And then Amanda remembered Nurse Deborah, so she decided to talk to her again, setting up a meeting at a cafe. Surprised, Deborah arrived on time. Amanda was the first to start. I'm sorry to bother you again. It's just that I have no one else to turn to. I can't tell anybody about something like this. They won't believe it. So I beg you to help me save Mitchell. I want to get him out of the hospital. I can get a car. I can drive. But how can I get him out? He's in a coma right now. Deborah paused for a moment, then replied, Okay, let's think this through. I have the night shift the day after tomorrow. It'll be Saturday. There will only be a few people on duty in the ward. Plus, Mitchell's doctor has Sunday off. During my shift, I can refrain from giving him the medicine that keeps him in a coma, so he should wake up in about 12 to 16 hours. I'll provide you with a white coat, a cap, and a mask to make sure no one recognizes you. We can also give you a name tag that says you're a doctor. We'll try to handle this ourselves. I'm hesitant to involve anyone else because I don't fully trust anyone. The only thing left is to figure out what to say when they come looking for him, which will likely happen during my shift. I could get fired for this, but you know what? Let them. I can't take it anymore. Amanda let out a heavy sigh and responded, I don't have a plan. I'll take him to my place as he is. Nowhere else. Once he wakes up and tells us who kidnapped him and why, we'll go to the prosecutor's office and let them handle it all. They agreed on that plan. Amanda had been so nervous for the past days that she could barely focus during her work, and on the designated day, she trembled occasionally. She was terrified of what might go wrong. What if it didn't work? What if Mitchell didn't wake up at her house, but it was too late to retreat, and on the appointed night, Amanda turned off the camera after the last order and drove to the hospital. She changed her clothes as Deborah had told her to, crossed herself, exhaled, and went straight to the ICU. Deborah was already waiting for her in the ward. Together they placed Mitchell on a gurney and hurriedly took him towards the exit. The gurney rattled on the tiled floor of the deserted corridor, causing Amanda's heart to race. She silently prayed that no one would approach and question their actions. Thankfully, they were fortunate. Everything went smoothly. At this late hour, all the patients were already asleep, including the doctor on duty. Once they placed Mitchell in the backseat of the car, Deborah quickly returned to her post, whispering a goodbye to Amanda. Be careful, Amanda. I wish you and your fiancé a speedy recovery. I've packed the necessary medications and written down the instructions for you on a sheet of paper. In a hurry, Amanda drove frantically, her heart racing with fear. She felt like a criminal, constantly checking her surroundings, afraid of being followed. When she reached her house, she called her neighbor Barry urgently and whispered into the receiver. Barry, could you come out for a minute? I need your help. I'm sorry for being so late. Barry was shocked when he saw the unconscious guy in the back seat. Amanda begged. Please help me. I can't lift him alone. We need to get him to my room. Just don't ask questions right now, okay? I promise I'll explain everything later. Without hesitation, Barry helped carry Mitchell into the room and placed him on the sofa. He asked, What's going on, Amanda? Why did you bring him here? Did you also take the taxi from work? Mr. Ferris will be angry. Did anyone see you? Amanda shook her head, replying, "No one saw me. I turned off the camera. I'll turn it back on. You won't tell on me, will you? I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm trying to save this man's life. Do you believe me?" Barry waved his hand and said, "I know you're a good person. I believe you, but please, keep me out of it. I have a family to think about. I won't tell anyone, but I don't want to know too much. I'm going home. I did what I could." Amanda returned the taxi to the company without any issues. The guards treated her well, and she was sure they wouldn't report her. However, she couldn't stop trembling from the evening's events and emotions. She arrived home on the last bus, checked that Mitchell was breathing normally, and collapsed beside him, exhausted. She was really worried and started crying. "God, what did I get myself into? Barry was right, this is really dangerous. And if that rich man finds me, what's going to happen to me? And what about Mitchell? I don't have anyone to protect me. My life feels like a detective story, and I'm the main character. It's so scary, but at least I managed to save someone. That's something to be happy about." 13 hours went by, and Mitchell finally woke up. He squinted in the sunlight and looked around, feeling confused. "Hey, where am I? Why am I not in the hospital? Oh, I remember you. You're the taxi driver who saved me on the highway. I never got to say thank you." Amanda smiled and said, "I'll tell you a story that might make you thank me again, even though it's risky for me to do so. But still." Amanda went on to tell Mitchell everything she knew about his supposed father, the drugs he was given, and her own pregnancy. She needed to get it off her chest and share it with someone. Mitchell listened closely without interrupting, staying silent for a while. Then he started telling his own story. "Yeah, he's not my real dad. But to make you understand, let me start from the beginning. It's a long and complicated story. My parents were wealthy. My dad owned a bunch of hotels, and my mom was a psychologist for famous people. When I was 3, my dad was threatened by some criminals who wanted to take over his business. That's when he wrote his will, saying that everything would be mine when I turned 25. I think that's why all this chaos started. I'm turning 25 next month. My dad had a close friend named Hank Long, who was also kind of a relative. My dad trusted him a lot. After the threats, the bad guys attacked my dad and shot him while he was in the car. My mom got really sick from sadness and stress. She already had a weak heart and passed away not long after. So I was left all alone at 3 years old. Mr. Long, my dad's friend, took care of me and became like a dad to me. He's the one who came to see you. Mr. Long took over my dad's business and made me feel like I owed him for not sending me to an orphanage. He didn't treat me badly, but he didn't show me much love either. When I was 13, he got married, and I felt even more like I didn't belong. He sent me to a fancy school in England and then to university. Finally, I started coming back home to start my own business, but my stepdad still wanted to control me. I found out about my dad's will by accident when I visited my old nanny. She had been with me during all the tough times and knew everything but never said anything. Then I had an argument with my stepdad, and started looking for the lawyer who had the will. That's when things started going really wrong. I started getting threatening calls, telling me to leave town. At first, I didn't take them too seriously, but a week later, I was kidnapped by some bad guys. They kept me locked up in an old cabin in the woods, hitting me and trying to make me say the will wasn't real. Luckily, I managed to escape. One of the guys left, and when they took me out to go to the bathroom, I saw my chance to fight back. I don't really remember exactly how I got away, but I ran as fast as I could. I hid in a hole covered with leaves and stayed there for a whole day. Eventually, I got out and wandered until I found the road. And that's where you found me. Now unsure who was behind my kidnapping and who benefited from abandoning me, Amanda exclaimed, splashing her hands in frustration. "It's obvious, Mitchell. Of course, it's your stepfather. Who else? We need to go straight to the police and sound the alarm. He won't stop until he gets rid of you." Mitchell responded vaguely, "You're right. But I'm confused why my stepfather didn't try to harm me when I was a kid. The will says if I can't inherit, everything goes to Mr. Long." Amanda suggested, "Maybe you got lucky. Your stepdad might not have known about the will until recently, but I'm sure he had something to do with your kidnapping. I saw the way he looked at you, cold, calculating, and evil." Amanda took Mitchell to the prosecutor's office, where he explained everything, and then they went to the police. Justice started moving, and a case was opened. After a thorough investigation, horrifying truths emerged. It turned out Mr. Long not only planned and paid for Mitchell's kidnapping, but also had a role in his father's murder. Mitchell couldn't believe it. He was trembling. He asked to meet his stepfather, wanting to look him in the eye and ask one question. He thought maybe his stepfather would apologize, facing a life sentence, but instead the scoundrel acted brazenly. "Well, Mitchell, are you satisfied now?" "Yes, I'm getting old. Feeling sentimental. I was weak. They didn't kill you right away in the forest. I tried to protect you. You were like a son to me." Mitchell choked with disbelief. "Like a son? How can you say that?" "You've been pretending to mourn my father, promising to find his killers, but you ordered his death. Because of you, my mom died soon after. You ruined my life." "Why didn't you kill me earlier? Why did you pay for my education if you never loved me? I know you only tolerated me." The businessman grinned wickedly. "At first, I pitied you, so I sent you away to study. It also helped my reputation in high society to educate the son of my late partner. It kept suspicion away from me and I gained respect. But now, you've returned to ruin my plans. It was only when you mentioned the will recently that I panicked. I couldn't let you inherit everything so easily. I've worked hard for years to build this business, and now it's all supposed to go to you. No way. I thought of everything, planned everything. But you managed to escape from the cabin while I was still deciding whether to get rid of you immediately or later. And I would have succeeded if it weren't for that meddling cab driver. She ruined everything." Mitchell was furious. "Don't you dare insult Amanda. She's amazing. She saved my life twice from you, Dad. You won't get away with this. You'll pay for everything." Mr. Long leaned forward and hissed angrily. "You're very wrong, kid. I have connections and resources. I'll be out of here soon enough. You'll see." But the court delivered justice, and the businessman was sentenced to life in prison for his crimes. Instead of a luxurious life, a jail cell awaited him. In court, he shouted about how much he hated Amanda, blaming her for everything. She had stopped him from getting even richer and had saved his stepson, whom he didn't even care for. Mitchell took charge of the company and threw himself into his work. He and Amanda became close friends, often spending time together. Mitchell secretly harbored feelings for Amanda. He admired everything about her: her contagious laughter, her unique features, and her kind eyes. However, Mitchell couldn't confess his feelings because Amanda was pregnant with another man's child and preparing for childbirth. He feared that confessing now would only hurt her and ruin their close friendship. So instead, Mitchell chose to take care of her and support her in every way he could. He insisted that Amanda move out of her old, cramped housing, and he rented a comfortable apartment for her. He also encouraged her to stop working as a taxi driver since her pregnancy was becoming noticeable, and her employer wouldn't provide maternity leave or might even fire her. Mitchell provided financial assistance to Amanda and made sure she had everything she needed. Amanda felt overwhelmed by his kindness. "Mitchell, you're spoiling me too much. No one has ever cared for me like this. Thank you so much. It's a shame I had to quit driving. I really loved that job. Sitting at home all day is boring." Quietly, Mitchell replied, looking into her eyes. "Amanda, this is the least I can do for you. You're not just a stranger to me anymore. In fact, you're the closest person to me now. Don't worry, soon you'll have your baby boy, and there won't be a dull moment. I'll be there to pick you up from the hospital. Will you let me be a godfather?" Touched, Amanda replied softly, "Of course, why are you even asking? You know, Mitchell, I feel so safe and comfortable with you, more than with anyone else. Why didn't we meet earlier? It's a pity. But nothing can change that." Amanda's heart was also filled with love for Mitchell, but she didn't dare to entertain those feelings. She kept reminding herself, "Don't fantasize about him. Why would he want someone else's child? Don't ruin his life. But then, why does he care about me so much? Not every friend would do that. Is it just out of gratitude? I have to convince myself that he's just a friend, nothing more. We can never be anything more." Amanda was tormented by worries and doubts, with no one to confide in. One day, while leaving the women's clinic, she bumped into Deborah, the nurse who had helped save Mitchell. Both women were delighted to see each other and decided to have lunch at a cafe and catch up. "Pregnancy suits you," Deborah remarked with a laugh. "You look radiant. So how did your detective story with the kidnapping end?" "I've thought about you often," Deborah began, her tone reflective. I almost got fired and received a scolding that seemed to last forever. I had to write a lengthy explanation letter, and they even revoked my bonus. But it was all worth it. You should have seen the doctor's face when he couldn't find his paying patient in the morning. What a commotion it caused. Eventually, an investigation started, and our corrupt doctor was finally removed from his position. He was terrified and tried to dodge the consequences, hoping everyone would keep quiet about his shady actions. But many people were fed up with him. He was sentenced and is now in jail. He deserves it. And guess what? I even got promoted to head nurse. Can you believe it? Amanda smiled warmly and congratulated her, saying, "You deserve it." Then she added, "I've thought about you often too. Sometimes, you just need someone to talk to, knowing they'll understand and listen without judgment." As for her pregnancy, Amanda confided in Deborah about her complicated relationship with her ex-boyfriend. Deborah shook her head in amazement. "You're really something, my friend. I admire you. To be honest, you're incredibly brave. Taking risks for the sake of strangers, even while pregnant, it's admirable. Your Mitchell should be kissing your feet and taking my advice. Don't torture yourself. Don't doubt in vain, just trust your heart and fate. Everything will fall into place, believe me. Giving birth to a baby, loving them, and watching them grow is the greatest joy in life. If Mitchell truly loves you, he will reveal his feelings sooner or later, and having a child won't be an obstacle. I made a mistake in my youth. I had a fight with my fiancé, and I hastily terminated my pregnancy without thinking. I carry that regret on my soul, and now at 37, I have neither children nor a husband. Do you know how many times I've regretted my decision? I could have raised a child and not felt so alone. You're a fighter, Amanda, and I admire you for it." Amanda took Deborah's hand gratefully and said, "Thank you for everything you've done for me. Please visit me often. I'd be happy to have you around. Honestly, I've never had a true friend before, but I trust you. I feel like you're a good person, so let's be friends," Deborah exclaimed with joy. "I'm all for it. I have Sunday off. How about we go for a walk and look for some interesting baby things, like fashionable strollers? We can have a chat." From that day on, Amanda and Deborah became inseparable. They had plenty to talk about and felt a deep connection, almost like sisters. When Amanda went into labor in the middle of the night, she didn't hesitate to call Deborah. "I'm sorry for waking you up, but I think it started. My belly hurts so much, and I feel tightness. I'm scared. What should I do?" Deborah immediately sprang into action, calming her down and organizing transportation for her. She instructed Amanda to get dressed, gather her essentials and documents, and wait for her. "Everything will be okay. Dr. Brewster is a great obstetrician, and I'll be there for you," she assured. Deborah also called Mitchell herself. "Wake up, Romeo. Your Juliet is giving birth. Let's go help." Within 30 minutes, Amanda was taken to the delivery room. Deborah and Mitchell anxiously waited in the corridor. Mitchell, feeling nervous, paced back and forth, bombarding Deborah with questions. "You're a medical professional. Tell me, will Amanda be okay? Why hasn't she given birth yet? Did something go wrong?" The nurse tried to cheer Mitchell up, pouring him some coffee and urging him to calm down. "You men are so impatient. This process can sometimes last up to 24 hours. Let me ask you, do you love her?" Mitchell, feeling embarrassed, answered honestly, "Yes, very much, more than anything. Though I don't know what to do about it." Deborah chuckled. "You're funny. If you love her, what's there to think about? Get married and raise the boy with her. You two are so obvious. Don't hide in the corners pretending to be just friends." Excitedly, Mitchell asked, "Do you think she loves me too? I'm scared to tell her. I don't want to offend her. I can't sleep or eat. She's always on my mind." Deborah reassured him. "Yes, she does. Trust me. Be more decisive, Mitchell. We women are romantic. We always expect the first step from a man." Finally, a nurse emerged and announced, "Congratulations, Daddy, you have a big boy." Amanda gave birth without complications. Deborah winked at Mitchell, saying, "See? I told you everything would be fine. Go get some sleep, you lucky guy. I'll check on my friend as a medical professional. I'm allowed to." Amanda smiled blissfully as she held her baby close to her chest. The pain of labor seemed insignificant now as she looked at her son. The name Mark came to her mind effortlessly, regardless of who the father was. What mattered was that he was her own flesh and blood, and her life was forever changed, no longer just belonging to herself. Deborah entered the room quietly, kissing Amanda and congratulating her. Look at him, frowning like an old man. Come on, smile. Amanda laughed and replied, to be honest, it wasn't easy. The doctors were worried I couldn't do it on my own. But Mark and I pushed through, and now here he is, my little miracle. Where's Mitchell? Did he go home? Deborah chuckled and said, I doubt he left. You should have seen how worried he was about you. He paced like a caged tiger, bombarding me with questions. He loves you, Amanda, that's for sure. I think he'll propose to you soon. Will I be your maid of honor? Amanda's heart skipped a beat as she exclaimed, You think so? I'm so grateful that both of you are here, that you both appeared in my life. I was pregnant and alone with only my neighbor's support. Deborah smiled and said, I'll be happy to babysit the little serious baby. I know he'll grow fond of me. On the day of discharge, Mitchell arrived dressed in an expensive suit with a bouquet of flowers. Deborah had been with Amanda all morning, helping her get ready, teasing her and curling her hair with a curling iron. Your Romeo is downstairs waiting impatiently, she teased. Confused, Amanda asked, Deborah, what's all this? It feels like we're getting ready for a party. I'm just being discharged. Why all the fancy outfits? The nurse chuckled and replied, Who knows, who knows? One thing I can tell you is that you're in for a surprise. As Amanda stepped outside, Mitchell rushed to her while Deborah took little Mark in her arms. Mitchell took out a beautiful box from his pocket and opened it. Dear Amanda, I congratulate you on the birth of your son. I want to put this ring on your finger as a symbol that we are more than friends now. I love you, darling, and I want you to become my wife. Will you marry me? The nurses applauded, and the sound of a champagne bottle being opened filled the air. Even the elderly janitor paused his work to witness the scene. Overwhelmed with emotions, Amanda sobbed and whispered, I agree, I love you too, and I can't help it. Deborah clapped her hands and shouted cheers as she raised a glass of champagne. She was genuinely happy that two loving hearts were finally united. Amanda moved into Mitchell's mansion, and the couple officially tied the knot. Mitchell adopted Mark, giving him his surname. 3 years passed. Amanda and Mitchell lived harmoniously, and Amanda deeply appreciated her husband's loyalty, devotion, generosity, and care. She never regretted marrying Mitchell. One February, amidst the cold frosts and snowstorms, Mitchell suddenly suggested, Darling, why don't we go to a warm sea resort? What's stopping us? We'll soak up the sun. Amanda squealed with joy. Of course, I'm in. I've never been abroad, but I'd love to. You're the best. Mark clapped his hands in excitement, and the packing began. The couple visited a travel agency to select a suitable tour. The receptionist, a friendly girl, greeted them warmly and offered them coffee. She mentioned that the manager, Stephen, would assist them. When Stephen approached them, Amanda greeted him but didn't immediately recognize him. Upon closer inspection, she realized he was her ex-boyfriend. Stephen hadn't made any career advancements and remained a manager just as he was before. Amanda decided to play along by pretending not to remember him. She coolly said, My husband's son, and I would like to choose a family tour to the sea. What options do you have to offer? Stephen was visibly flustered and unable to provide a proper response. Lost in his thoughts, he barely heard Mitchell's voice. Finally, Stephen blurted out, Amanda, don't you recognize me? It's me, Stephen. Is this my son? What's his name? Mitchell answered stiffly, This is my son, Mark Lebman. Any more questions? Amanda calmly replied, Don't get excited, my love. The man has made a mistake. Mitchell took his wife and son, and they left the agency. Stephen was shocked. Losing such clients and such a woman. Peggy had left him a long time ago, and he never made a career. Today, seeing Amanda so radiant and happy, he felt offended and angry with himself. Now his son called another man daddy. And what was he left with? Few were willing to marry a simple manager without prospects. Only Amanda had loved him so sincerely and devotedly. If only he could turn back time. Amanda and Mitchell went on vacation, enjoying the sun and water, and came back completely happy. A month later, they received another surprise. Amanda found out she was pregnant. Mitchell hugged and kissed her, rejoicing like a child. Amanda thought to herself, if someone had told me that I would meet a man on the road, marry him, and have his child, I wouldn't have believed it. And now I'm the happiest I've ever been. That's fate. Soon, Amanda played matchmaker for her best friend, introducing her to Mitchell's friend and partner, Andrew. It was a great decision, as they had a passionate romance, and soon Deborah also became pregnant. Mitchell and Amanda joyfully shouted cheers at their best friend's wedding, wishing them happiness. The two couples often gathered for joint vacations, enjoying friendly and fun times together. To be loved is more valuable than being rich, and our heroes managed to achieve it.